Isn't he beautiful? I think he's perfect. Hello everybody, my name's Matthew Perkins from MatthewPerkins.net, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. That's right, both of them. So this is a series called Table Talk. Now, Table Talk is a very loosey-goosey series where we go on Reddit and we dive deep and try and find all those burning questions, those secret desires, and those spicy takes about a particular D&D topic, and then we just kind of rap about it and we learn some stuff. Now, today's video is all about beholders, those big eyeballs. You know them, you love them. But before we crack on with it, I just want to say, if you have not subscribed already, please do so. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers this year, and at the rate that we're going, I'm not going to hit it. Let's jump into it. Whee! First off, orientation. Let's just actually look at what a beholder is, okay? It's a particularly tough creature. This is what it looks like here on the right. So it is typically a ball with a big eye, a mouth, and then 10 eye stalks, okay? The idea is that each little eyeball around the side, see these are different colors? They each have a different ability because it shoots laser beams out of those eyeballs. And typically the eye in the middle has some kind of special ability, and the stock standard one is it has like a cone of dispelling magic, like an anti-magic cone. So if it shines its cone on you, all of your magical weapons become mundane while they're in the cone, and no spells can kind of pierce that cone, that area. Don't worry, we will get into the stat block in a little bit more detail later, but I just wanted to give you that little orientation. Ooh, there are already good questions here. We're going to do a couple of these. How about this one? How do you effectively and fairly run a beholder? So I just got Volo's Guide to Monsters and I'm totally engrossed in the section on beholders. While reading Volo's though, a question keeps sticking out in my mind that I can't quite find an answer to. How do I run a beholder in the way that it's supposed to be, but it isn't unfair / not fun to play against? Okay. They talked about the ultimate kind of monster, hyper-intelligent, insanely cunning and powerful, and master manipulators. Obviously there is a right way to do it, considering they've been around since the origins of the game themselves, but I'm completely lost. Okay. Let's think about, well, here's the thing. There is no right way. Do whatever you want. That's always the answer. In every instance, believe in yourself and do whatever you want and you will be correct. You know what's best for your game, my friend. So specifically in Volo's, it has a lot of lore about the old B-boys, these B-boys. So let's take a look. Scrolling up. This dungeon master was worried about being unfair by running a beholder according to what the book wants, right? So what do they mean by that? Because beholders are very intelligent. They've got an intelligence of 17, which is, you know, big brain. They're popping off up here. They know all geometry and all math. They've got it down. But they are also supernaturally paranoid. And what does that mean? What does that mean if you are supernaturally paranoid? They think that literally every creature is out to get them. Okay? They truly believe they are center of the world and that everything revolves around them in some way. And all they do is prepare. They prepare. They have contingencies for literally every situation, okay? They are constantly thinking they've been plotted against, and any problem you throw at them, according to the law, a beholder has a contingency in place to deal with that. Here's a bad example. If the party has a plan to release giant rats into their lair to like eat all the food or something and starve them out, they go, I've prepared for this. And not only do I have rat traps everywhere, but I've also have the spell, make food and water. And I can survive forever in here because you've executed plan 124B. And I was prepared for that with contingency 256A. Why did the beholder give them different numbers? It would be easy just to pair them up, right? All right, no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you, beholder. So how do you roleplay that in a satisfying way? Because imagine if we had a situation in this party where the party does have a good idea, and then the dungeon master just gets to retroactively say, no, it doesn't work. The beholder prepared for it. Like, could that be satisfying? That might feel like the dungeon master is kind of metagaming in a cheating way. So when I read through these answers, it seems that a lot of these people are talking about the mechanics of the actual combat abilities, which I don't think is really the scary part about a beholder. Because, you know, a combat stat block can be overcome in combat through tactics and strategy and levels and stuff, right? That's fine. Those are in the rules of the game. But how do you deal with those story problems? When I say problems, I don't mean like it's something we have to fix. I mean story challenges. You know what? I think those contingencies are actually important for a beholder. If you're a dungeon master, No matter what plan your party throws at it, the beholder has some kind of contingency in place for it or some kind of counteractive measure, okay? But what should that mean at the actual table? Does that mean that your party fails? No, right? I think just for the lore, just for kind of informing the beholder as a character to your players, I think you can just say that, look, just tip your hat to the fact that, no, the beholder had something to do with this. It's got escape tunnels. It's got fire extinguishers. It's got, and you could even showcase it. You could showcase it around. Like when they go into the beholder's lair, they can see the remnants or like the bits and pieces and the clues that it had all these other contingencies. Like, yeah, it had bear repellent in there. Yeah, in case you guys bring a bear. And that kind of maddening paranoia, when they see that, maybe they'll work out that that paranoia is something they could exploit. You know, the whole keep your enemies, friends close and enemies closer, that kind of thing. I think a beholder would kind of lean into that. I think that's the kind of way I would have it be fair. It's intelligent, it's paranoid, but it's not infallible. Since we're talking about beholders, I've made something kind of special about beholders. Check out this PDF. For too long have crazy eyeball laser beams been purely in the realm of the beholder. Now, crafty players can take those beholder eye stalks and craft them into beholder wands. This 4-page PDF is available to every patron from the $5 tier and above, and plus you get access to the entire Patreon archive. Please check it out. It's really fun. It's really fun. Craft some beholder eye wands today. How would you make a beholder a more dangerous threat? A more dangerous threat. Well, how big a threat is it at the moment? We're just talking about some of like the role-playing difficulty, but let's talk about some of the mechanical difficulty. So the scary thing about Beholder is this anti-magic cone. I'll read this to you. The beholder's central eye creates an area of anti-magic, as in the anti-magic field spell. This is a 150-foot cone, which is, by the way, children, if you're listening at home, that's a big boy cone. That's a massive cone. At the start of each of its turns, the beholder decides which way the cone faces and whether the cone is active. And what's very fun about this is the area of the anti-magic cone works against its own eye rays. And what's really cute about this, in order to stop the anti-magic cone, the beholder just has to close its eyes. So the idea that it's walking around sometimes with its eyes closed, I don't know, I think that's pretty cute. It's quite fun. So the crazy thing about this is it has a lot of abilities here. Look at all these stat blocks. Look at all these abilities it has, sorry. So what you're going to do is it's going to use its abilities at random, okay? It chooses who to target. It chooses who it targets. So it goes, I want to target the cleric and the wizard or whatever. But then it has to roll a d10 to determine which eye beam it shoots. And about like maybe 3 or 4 of these actually do damage, but they do so much damage. They do so much damage when they do. And the ones that don't do damage still do a lot of utility. So it's got a charm ray, a paralyzing ray, a fear ray, a slowing ray, and these are all pretty self-explanatory. This one is an enervation ray. I've learned that enervation means like necrotic energy, it's damage. Telekinetic ray, which is going to push somebody away. A sleep ray, a petrification ray, a disintegration ray, which I will remind you, if you get killed by a disintegration ray, then you are dead. You turn to dust and like there's no body to be revived. And then a death ray. And this one, if you go to 0, it just kills you. No saving throws. Adios, muchachos. What does muchachos mean? I don't know. It has a lot of abilities. And it has a unique kind of strategic and tactical threat that it's posing to the party. They probably have never faced something that takes away their abilities like that. And if they have fallen into some kind of pattern or familiar kind of relationship with their abilities and their place within the party, this is a good monster to displace and shake up that confidence. Because suddenly, hey, the wizard can't cast spells while it's being looked at. That's not handy. But it does have some weaknesses, and let's work out what those weaknesses are. The flying speed is only 20 feet. You know, it could just fly up to space or whatever, that's fine. But that is a kiteable kind of chaseable speed, right? All of its abilities are very, 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 very ranged. So if you just got to take a bit of cover, here is something I should address though. The randomness of these eye rays. This wasn't present in previous editions. In previous editions, the beholder could just choose which ray it was using at any one time in combat. But what Wizards have done in 5th edition is they've said that this is to kind of highlight the fact that this is a frantic, mad, insane creature, right? And to kind of illustrate that with the dice, they say it's so crazy, it's just blasting. But outside of combat, they've specifically specified that the beholder can choose which eye it's going to use. It just has like a mild panic attack in combat, I guess. Here's a cool way that you can make it tougher, specifically according to the rules here. You can give it variant abilities. Okay, so each of its abilities here you could change to make it a little bit more unique or a little bit more deadly. So let's say you change the paralyzing ray. What if you change it to modify memory and you use it against like the wizard and unlearn one of their spells? You go, cool, you didn't prepare that spell today. You prepared nothing. It would probably have to be a spell that the beholder has seen the wizard cast, or maybe one that it just presumes the wizard has. But a beholder that blasts you and then you start unpreparing spells, that is very funny. And here's a good one as well. The beholder has a lot of single target attacks. Sure, it's getting 3 attacks, but each of them are only attacking one creature. If you replace a disintegration ray with chain lightning, that is gonna let you splash damage a bit, and that would be very, very, very useful. But another way to boost their deadliness is to steal from like 4th edition and 5th edition. Check this out. It's crazy. This is the 4th edition monster manual, and there's a beholder in every single one of the monster manuals on 4th edition. It's really cool. But they have a cool ability tied to one of their abilities here, and this might just be a feature of disintegration in 4th edition. I don't know. They have after effects on the eye rays. And now this could be brutal. So the disintegration ray down here, it's one of the big boys. So it's ranged and you make your save and then you're going to take damage, right? Roll for damage. But then you take ongoing damage. There's ongoing damage tied to the beholder's ability. But then that's cool. The save ends. Fine. Make your save again at the end of your turn or whatever. Then that effect ends. However, there's an after effect. This is a 4th edition feature. There's an after effect. After you save, now you're only taking 2d6 damage per turn instead of 2d20 damage per turn. And then you have to save again. So adding damage over time is going to make your beholder a brutal nightmare. I also want to show you this. Check out this 4th edition art for the beholder. Dun, 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 dun. There he is. Isn't he pretty? Do you like him? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. And here's a question in a similar vein. So let's get on this and we can kind of expand on this even further. Turning up the heat on a beholder fight. Hello all, I'm looking for some advice on how to turn up the heat on a beholder fight. Hey, it's just like in the title. Currently, it's stacked as a normal beholder with a priest minion to assist the fight. The fight's going to take place on a cavern with a series of bridges all at different levels. Okay, we don't care. We just want to turn up the heat. We just want to turn up the heat. I don't need the particular details. If you want to turn up the heat on a beholder fight, my dude, there are multiple beholders out there. There are all kinds of beautiful eye boys that you can take advantage of. Let's do a speed run of looking at them. They are so cool. So in Volo's Guide to Monsters, there are a bunch of other beholders, and these can have the effect of giving you more options for fighting beholders all along the CR scale. So if you have a lower level party, or fight this beholder. If you have a high level party, fight this beholder. But there's also the ability to mine these beholders for parts, okay? Because they all provide slightly different flavors of threat. So if you go, ooh, I really want to confound the party and then add like a really interesting kind of combat mechanic into the mix to turn up the heat, if you were, question asker, then you can take one of the unique abilities of, oh my God, he's so cute. Hey, little buddy, of this Death Kiss, and like give it to them. So what can he do? He has Lightning Blood. A creature within 5 feet of the Death Kiss takes 1d10 lightning damage whenever it hits the Death Kiss with a melee attack that deals piercing or slashing damage. So its blood is pure energy, and if you hit it, you take damage. That would make your beholder a lot more scary, wouldn't it? So here's a Gouth. We're going to check him. Now, he's a bit of a bigger boy, right? But he has a special ability of death throws. Now, generally, I don't like abilities like this. Let me see what it does. So when it dies, the magical energy within it explodes and all the creatures around it take a bunch of damage, okay? I don't generally like explode on death mechanics, but what you could do is say, hey, maybe with this beholder, if you want, you can, at certain damage thresholds, you can cut off its eyes, okay? So when it has, I don't know, half its health gone, you can roll a random dice to see that its eye pops off. But when that happens, the eyeball explodes. So it loses that ability, but it also does mini splash damage. So that's again adding more damage output that isn't taking up the beholder's actions. And then this one doesn't have anything to offer us, but we're going to talk about this later. This is the Gazer. I can't wait to talk about the Gazer, everybody. So you can add all these kind of unique abilities to your beholder to really turn up the heat on your beholder combat. I truly do feel that they are more of like a solo. This isn't the right question. I do feel like that they are more of a solo creature. And if you are going to add any allies, I feel that they should be minions, something there to distract, output a bit of damage, but not the focus. The beholder should be the star of the dish. Well, here's one I'm very excited about. Can a Warlock have a beholder as a patron? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hello. How are you? I've been putting together a campaign with a big bad evil guy being a beholder. In this campaign, I've also been thinking about having a rival of the party in the form of a Warlock with the beholder as his patron. Dude, this is sick. This is already rad. If you all could choose or decide, what type of patron would a beholder be? Personally, I thought of them being a great old one, but I'm not sure. I'd appreciate your advice. I am going to ignore the question and just talk about the idea of having a beholder as a patron, because that is cool. So for those who don't know, Warlocks are magic users that get their magical powers by making a dark pact with some otherworldly creature. It is bestowed upon them as some kind of gift as part of that contract that they've signed. Now, a beholder as a patron? That's pretty interesting. They're definitely otherworldly enough. They're from a place called the Far Plane, the Far Place, the Far something. Let's look it up. Oh, not the Far Plane, the Far Realm. I think the Far Plane's from Final Fantasy X. So let's briefly read this paragraph about the Far Realm, and then you will have an idea of what kind of patron a beholder would be. The Far Realm is outside the known multiverse. In fact, it might be an entirely separate universe with its own physical and magical laws, where stray energies from the Far Realm leak into the other plane, matter is warped into alien shapes that defy understandable geometry and biology. Aberrations, such as mind flayers and beholders, are either from this plane or shaped by its strange influence. The entities that abide in the Far Realm itself are too alien for a normal mind to accept without strain. Titanic creatures swim through nothingness there, and unspeakable things whisper awful truths about those who dare listen. For mortals, knowledge of the Far Realm is a struggle of the mind to overcome the boundaries of matter, space, and sanity. Some Warlocks embrace this struggle by forming pacts with entities there. Anyone who has seen the Far Realm mutters about eyes, tentacles, and horror. So you see that the Far Realm is outside the known multiverse. In the box of known things, it is put in the box of other. So beholders are from this place, this strange zone. But I'm trying to think of what kind of benefits especially would I give to a player or an NPC that had a beholder as a patron. Here's the very first thing that I do, and this is 100%. They should have this little thing, a Gazer, as a familiar. It's really cool. There is a rule down here for using a Gazer as a familiar, and it acts a little bit differently to the Find Familiar spell. It acts a little bit differently because this is actually a creature that you are bonding with. It's not some fey creature that you're popping in and out of existence and that you've conjured into being or whatever. It is actually a dude out there that you've gone, hey man, come along. Hey, you want to go on an adventure? Here's a beautiful little eye boy. Look at this beautiful little eye boy. Okay, coochie. I'm really excited about that. So here's the first thing. Your Warlock would definitely have this wicked thing as your familiar. What's the second thing? I suppose we'd want to illustrate the Warlock's, so my mistake, the Beholder's madness and the kind of randomness of its abilities somehow in the Beholder patron. They have an Eldritch Pact where they can spend one of their spell slots like they're very, very few spell slots, once per long rest or something, and they can roll, like wild magic, one random eye beam that is somehow kind of like scaled to the Warlock level. So it's doing appropriate damage, but it's doing one of those random effects. And it's like, you shoot the laser beam. I reckon that would be cool. Especially I think that would work with an NPC, because then you can just treat those abilities like just a special little ability on their stat block, which I think would be quite fun. Beholder as a patron? Yes. Gazer as a familiar? Double yes. Let's look at him again. Let's give him a quick look. Oh, my little lad. Oh, my precious little boy. Oh, I will protect you. I will protect you. Do you guys know that I have a beholder? I got a pet beholder. He's around here somewhere. Oh, hey, here he is. Guys, this is Raw. This is Raw, the engagement beholder. So he's a beautiful little beholder, but he doesn't, eat meat or anything like that. He's not even a vegan. He actually survives off all of your likes, subscribes, and YouTube analytics and social media analytics. But he hasn't been getting much lately. He's actually getting kind of skinny. You got anything to eat, little buddy? Oh, no, he's going so hungry. Anyway, if you guys could do me a favor and just like feed him like a subscribe or like a comment or something, because he will starve to death. He will starve to death, and then it'll be your fault. The way beholders reproduce is not, and this is only a 5th edition thing. I think they only added this in 5th edition, because in previous editions they specifically said that if you watch beholders mate, it's terrifying to behold. That was like in 3rd edition or something. But in this one, they're saying that beholders are made in dreams. Here's how a beholder comes into existence. I am a beholder. Okay, look at me go. Wah, wah, wah. I'm crazy. Oh, I'm asleep. I'm having a dream. This is a dream. And in my dream, I have imagined another beholder. What happens when I, as a beholder, imagine another beholder is that beholder becomes real. It's like The Secret. They visualize it and then it becomes real. The thing is, beholders hate other beholders. Okay, they fight on sight. They all believe, even though there's slight differences in each kind of beholder, right? Maybe this one has like scaly eyes and this one has smooth, silky eyes. Maybe this one has like detached, floating little orbs of light instead of eyes, okay? They're all slightly different in their physiology, but they all believe they are beautiful and perfect, which, I can actually kind of get behind beholder body positivity. I kind of like that. So if they ever see another beholder, like 9 times out of 10, they're going to fight to the death. So they apparate one, they fight to the death, and then the new one kind of takes over the lair, depending on who wins. Now, I'm going to spoil something real quick. If you are playing the Dragon Heist book, that adventure, you are not allowed to listen to the next 30 seconds. Okay? Skip ahead. So here's something crazy that is a good example of what I was just talking about, and it is a spoiler for Dragon Heist. So the character Xanathar, right? He's a famous beholder. Did you know that his name is not Xanathar? Xanathar is a title. He is actually the Xanathar. Isn't that crazy? His actual name is Zashax. Good change. But that blows me away. He's named the Xanathar. And the idea is that multiple different beholders have actually run the Xanathar's Guild, the Thieves Guild in that town. Probably because he keeps on dreaming up new beholders and they fight, invariably, and then one of them takes over. But everyone just calls him Xanathar. It's like if everybody just called me YouTuber. Hey YouTuber, how you going? Fine, thank you. My name's Matt. My name's Zashax. But yeah, isn't that cool? They're made in dreams. And sometimes some of the origins of these different beholders, like that one that drinks blood from earlier. Let's find him again. Let's just get him real quick. Yeah, like this one, the Death Kiss, the one that drinks blood. A Death Kiss is a lesser beholder that might come into being when a beholder has a vivid nightmare about losing blood. Because this thing with these feetsies drinks blood. So it actually apparates this beautiful boy. How could anybody be mad at you? He's beautiful. Oh, he's challenge rating 10. I should treat him with more respect. So that's what we learned about beholders. We learned so much. Isn't that great? Everybody, these people downstairs, these are my patrons. Thank you so much for your support, patrons. I couldn't do any of this without you. This mic, these lights, all of you have helped me out, and you help me out every day, and I think about you when I go to sleep, and I love you in a very real way. If you want to click one of these videos off to the side, these are other videos, please do it. Please help me out. And also, did you know that when this video goes live right now, I am streaming on Twitch. So come over to twitch.tv/MatthewPerkinsDM and say hi. Let's talk about beholders. I'm probably playing video games. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.